Okay, so I did have a whole video planned for this, but my computer died, and I lost everything. So we're going to redo it. It'll be a bit more of a low effort version though. I'll just kind of talk you through everything as we go. So yeah, in this video we're going to look at how we can make our own meshes within Ursina, and this is useful for any like building game, for example Minecraft, but its possibilities are a lot more endless than that. So to start off with, we will just set everything up as normal, and now we can make a start at creating our mesh. So we'll create a variable called our mesh, and then we can just call the mesh class to begin with. What we then need to do is pass it a list of vertices that are going to make up our mesh, and this is in the form of a two-dimensional list. So to start off with, let's just make a plane, so like a flat kind of object for like a floor or something like that. So we'll start at the origin, we'll pass it the point 0, 0, 0, and then we'll just kind of keep working round. So let's add the point 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, and then 0, 0, 1. And what you might notice is that nothing should really happen at the moment, and that's because we also need to connect these vertices up in order to make a face. And now in Ursina the faces are called triangles, because that is what you'd typically use. However, they can also take a four-sided shape, so in this case our square that we're making. So again, it's another two-dimensional list, but this time you pass it a list of vertices. So this 0, 0, 0, that's going to be our 0th vertice, like the same way you just index lists in Python. So yeah, we can just count up 0, 1, 2, 3, and that should be our 4 vertices in order. It's just worth making sure that you have it as a two-dimensional list. So we've got a pair of square brackets on the outside, because when we get to adding more faces later, that will become important. So now let's just see what we've done. So we'll add this mesh to an entity just so it displays the same as you've been doing before. And now finally let's just add an editor camera. So let's try running this and just see what happens. And you can see we've created our plane. Now, one thing you might notice is if you look at it from underneath, nothing will appear on the screen. This is due to something called backface culling, and it's to increase performance. So whenever a side of a face isn't needed, it will just not be drawn. And the way Ursina knows which side of the face is like the outside is the one you want to see, it uses this right hand rule. So if you imagine taking your right hand and curling your 4 fingers into a fist and then stick your thumb up, the fingers should follow the direction round that the vertices go. So we're going from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 0, 0 to 1, 0, 1, and we're going round that way. So in this case it's counterclockwise. So our thumb should then be pointing up, and that's showing us that the upwards facing face is the one that's being displayed. Hopefully that should make sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry. just try messing around changing the order that you're connecting up the vertices. So we could try going backwards. So this time 3, 2, 1, 0. And if we try running this now, you should see now it's the underside that's getting shown. Because if we use our right hand rule again, we're now going round the other way. So our thumb is pointing down. Okay, but we'll change that. Actually, no, let's leave that there for now. And what we're going to do is make this shape into a cube. So to do this, let's just add more vertices on top of the ones we've already created. So we'll just switch all these zeros to ones. And now our vertices are in place. We just need to create all the other faces that make up this cube. So this is where having our triangles as a 2D array is really important. So let's just make 6 more faces, and we'll just slowly begin to connect them up. So let's do 0, 1. So that's these two here. Just give me a second. There we go. So we can then connect up 0, 1, and then we want number 5 and number 4. And we use our right hand rule again, and we know we're going round anti-clockwise, so the outwards direction will be pointing towards us as the player. So yeah, that works. And then we can keep going round. So our next one, that's going to be 1, 2, and then 6, 5. We can keep going, so now it will be 3, 2, 7, 6. And if you need to, yeah, just slow it down, have a think about which points we're connecting up here, matching it up to our vertices. And finally we will have, so that's, actually no, backing up a second, that should be 2, 3, 7, 6, my bad. And keeping going round, that should then be 3, 0. And that should be 4, 7. And now the final thing to do is just create the face that goes on top of the cube. So we're going to want, that should be 4, 5, 6, 7. And now let's just try running this and see if we did it all right. And you should see that we've created a cube. So that's pretty good there. There are a couple more things we need to look at though, particularly when we start to add shaders. There's something called the vertex normals, which are going to become a lot more important. These are essentially telling our program which way the faces are almost, and the vertices are pointing, like which is the outside kind of direction from our geometry, and that's useful for shading. So I'll just import like a basic shader to show this. So from Ursina.shaders import basic lighting. And don't worry too much about this for now, just copy this into your code. There we go. So if we try running it now, you should see just everything is black because we've not got these normals put in. So that is quite easy to fix. And I'm going to do kind of a bit of a cheat here, just to save a bit of time. So we're just going to copy in our other vertex normals. Give me a second to fix that. Okay, so we're going to want normals here, and then anything that's 0, we're just going to change that to -1. It shouldn't take too long, because what this is doing is this is showing what direction the outside of the shape is. So when we're at our point 0, 0, 0, we're going to have a vector pointing in the -1, -1, -1 direction, and that's the outside of our shape. So we've got this done now, and if we just run it, you should now start to see that it's all shaded quite smoothly, which is nice to see. So yeah, that's pretty good. We also might want to add textures to our object. So if we just begin just adding a texture, so let's just use the built-in brick texture, and let's try running this. You should notice that nothing really happens, and now this is because we haven't told it where to map the texture to on our model. So you might have heard of UV coordinates before, and that's what we're going to sort out now. So again, these UV coordinates match up to each vertice as always. So let's just add them in now. We'll use the key argument UVs, so we can then again create a 2D array or 2D list. And now we use values between 0 and 1 for each part of the coordinates, and this is just so no matter what size the texture image is we're passing in, we can just scale it up and down quite easily. So let's start off with a point at 0, 0, and then as we work around, let's go to 1, 0, 1, 1, and then 0, 1, and then let's just repeat that for the top, although we might get some weird like distortions here, because I'm not like matching them up completely accurately. But yeah, it just takes a bit of time and thinking through that to make it all look as good as possible. So let's run that now, and yeah, you should see the top and bottom, they map quite nicely. But yeah, as you can see, it gets stretched along the side just because I've not kind of mapped it properly on the sides. What you can do as a bit of a workaround is create multiple points for each vertice. So we could use a set of 4 points for this face here, a set of 4 points, 4 separate points for this face here, and that makes it a lot easier just to map each face to the correct position on the texture. But yeah, there we go. That is most of it done for the video. There's a few just extra bits we need to look at just to finish up. There are different modes we can have for our mesh. So for example, we can set our mode equals line, and what this will do is just display the lines that like the wireframe of our mesh. Or we can use the mode point, and this will just display each vertex. As you can kind of see here, it's not working particularly well, and I think that's just because it's not working with this shader. So let's remove that, and there we go. We've got some points here. We can see the points are a bit big here. So what we can do is just use the thickness key argument just to fix that up. And that again works for the line mode as well. And there we go. finally, one final thing: if you need to change the mesh at any point after its creation, all we need to do is call mesh.generate, in this case our mesh.generate, just to update everything afterwards. So we've called our mesh here, and now we're going to modify it slightly. So what I'm just going to do is scale it up a bit. There we go, just a simple mistake. And you can see we've scaled up our cube slightly, and we needed to call the generate function here just for it to like register this change we've made to our mesh. So yeah, that should be it for today. It's a bit of a different style video. Let me know how you found it, because if you prefer this way I can do more of it, or we can go back to the kind of more polished style that I have been doing before. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.